Parkinson's Parkinson's living exceptional life. I'm your host, Chris Customer, and I've been living an exceptional life with Parkinson's for the past 14 years. The mission of this podcast is to help as many people living with Parkinson's lead a great quality of life as possible. Now, today's episode is called Tremors and Laughter, How Humor Heals in Parkinson's Disease. So we're going to take a look at laughter and humor and how it can help us manage our symptoms of Parkinson's on a daily basis. Now, living with Parkinson's doesn't mean giving up laughter. Picture this. You're at a party surrounded by friends and family. The laughter's flowing, jokes are flying around, and everyone's having a great time. But then you remember you have Parkinson's disease. And suddenly, the joy feels like it's a little forced, laughter a bit strained. But what if it didn't have to be that way? What if, even with the challenges of Parkinson's, you could still find humor in life? What if the laughter could be more than a distraction, but a powerful tool for coping, connecting, and even healing? In this episode, we'll explore the surprising relationship between humor and Parkinson's. We'll share tips and strategies for incorporating more laughter and humor into your daily life. And we'll remind you that even with tremors, laughter is still the best medicine. So join us on this journey of laughter, hope, and resilience. Because even in the face of Parkinson's, there's always something to smile about. Now, here's some additional reasons to join me on this podcast. You'll learn how humor can help you cope with the challenges of Parkinson's. You'll discover new ways to connect with others and build a support network. And you'll be inspired by the stories of people who are living with Parkinson's and find joy in life. And you'll leave feeling more hopeful and empowered and free to face whatever challenges come your way. So, let's start by discussing some of the common challenges that we all face with Parkinson's. Now, the reason I want to start with this is because I'm not trying to minimize the daily challenges and struggles that we all go through. Having lived with Parkinson's for the past 14 years, I know that some days can really suck, and they're a real struggle. You get out of bed, you're having problems with your balance, or you're having really bad tremors, or you have freezing. So I've experienced it all. So I don't, as we're talking about laughter and humor, I certainly don't want to minimize any of the challenges that we all go through on a daily basis. But I do want to discuss some of the common challenges because I want to explain how these challenges can sometimes lead us to humorous situations, both intentional and unintentional. So let's start with some motor symptoms. Let's look at some of the common motor symptoms that we all experience, and let's start with tremors. Yes, that shaking hand causes us to spill drinks or even makes it difficult to button our shirts, and that can lead to self-deprecating humor. I always say when my tremor is bad that I'll have no trouble getting a job as a bartender at a martini bar mixing up martinis. It helps deflect people's concerns about what to say, and it helps me overcome the challenges of dealing with the tremor by making fun of it. You know, I've always been a clown, and this is just another way for me to deal with the challenge. Plus, my brother or my nieces and nephews will also tease me lightheartedly to reduce the awkwardness. That's what families are for, right? Who else is going to do it? All right, the next one is rigidity. A lot of us all have problems with rigidity, and difficulty moving can result in comical situations if you let it. For example, you're getting stuck in a chair or needing help putting on socks can result in laughter between you and the caregiver. Slowness of movement, taking longer to complete tasks can create opportunities for playful exaggeration. I use some standard lines like, "Don't worry, I'm practicing slow motion." Or, "How do you like my matrix moves?" Or, for those of you that remember the Karate Kid, "Wax on, wax off." It helps lighten the mood and reduce the tension. Now, on the days people experience speech difficulties, and let's say we have a soft voice and we're having difficulty finding words, that can lead to some unintentional but funny misinterpretations, creating shared amusement and getting some empathy from the people. For example, when my voice is soft and a friend says, "I can't hear you," I say, "I was whispering, I see dead people." If you remember that from the movie The Sixth Sense. Or I'll make a joke and say, well, apparently you need to get your hearing checked because I was talking way beyond using my library voice. Freezing. Sudden episodes of being unable to move can be frustrating. Now, here's how I use humor to break the tension and help to ease people's fears and concerns. It's okay, just taking a power nap here in place. Or when they say, are you all right? I say, absolutely, just checking out the beautiful furniture in this room. It's lovely, isn't it? Now, let's look at some of the common non motor symptoms that we all experience. And let's start with fatigue. This is one that a lot of us feel. Fatigue, it's when you feel constantly tired, and it can inspire witty remarks like, I'm not napping, I'm just examining the inside of my eyelids for any issues. I'm fine, just plug me in, my battery's getting low. And my wife always loved these, of course, especially when I'm a passenger in a car. And if it's an hour ride or more, she'll keep saying, you're sleeping. And I'll say, I say, absolutely not. They told me to close my eyes when I meditate. Now, great, since you interrupted me, I have to start all over again. Or like I said before, I was checking the inside of my eyelids just to make sure that there was no damage. And then depression and anxiety. Now, those are often sensitive subjects, but humor can be a healthy outlet for difficult emotions. It lets people acknowledge the challenges while still maintaining a sense of perspective. For example, I might say, my brain's on vacation, but my sense of humor came along for the ride. Cognitive changes. This is another sensitive issue, but there's times where you can use intentional or unintentional humor to help lighten the situation. Say you're having difficulty remembering names or you're forgetting your grocery list, which I do all the time. And I forget names all the time as well. I'm great with faces, names it takes me several times to get it down. But that can be a good time to lighten the mood, especially if you're having trouble remembering either the grocery list or someone's name. You might say, I'm having a senior moment, or, hey, my brain's on strike today. Do you know the feeling? Now, when I was growing up and I played Little League Baseball, and one of the coaches always called it everybody champ and star. And I asked my dad, why does he always call everybody champ and star and not call them by their name? And he said because he can't remember people's names, so he uses champ and star and help to deflect the situation. And as a kid, you didn't even think about it. Now let's talk about sleep disturbances as another non-motor symptom. Of course, restless nights can lead to funny stories. For example, why are you getting up at 2:30 a.m.? Well, it's my shift on guard duty. I have to protect the castle, you know. Or if you have restless legs and your partner says, are you okay? Absolutely. Just practicing for the musical. Don't want to waste any time. Now, it's important to remember that not everyone feels comfortable using humor, and that's okay. And the type of humor used can vary greatly from person to person. Now, respecting individual preferences and boundaries is crucial, especially during when somebody's having off periods or when their symptoms are really bad. That's probably not the best time to use humor. And then humor should never be used to dismiss or minimize the challenges of PD. Now, let's turn our attention to laughter. You may have heard the old saying, laughter is the best medicine. Well, let's take a look specifically at the benefits laughter can provide, both physiologically and mentally, in helping us live a great quality of life with Parkinson's. Now, laughter is not only contagious. Think of how many times a friend or family member started laughing at a funny story or a joke, and then you find yourself laughing along at the same time. And then sometimes you even forget what you're laughing about. Besides being contagious, laughter can also be a potent medicine with a range of benefits, both for your mind and your body. So let's take a look at some of the benefits of using laughter for Parkinson's. First, stress reduction. Now, when our bodies are stressed, they go into the flight or fight mode. And so we start to release more stress hormones, like cortisol is one of the stress hormones that we release during fight or flight. But laughter triggers the release of endorphins. There are natural feel-good chemicals, and they can counteract cortisol and help put the brakes on the stress response. So when you start to feel stressed or you're having a bad week or a bad day, laugh at yourself, get a comedy show or listen to something funny on the radio or just go onto YouTube and look up funny animal videos. They'll help you laugh, and that'll help to reduce your stress. Relaxation response. Laughter activates the parasympathetic nervous system, and that's responsible for our nice and relaxed state. It helps lead to lower blood pressure, a slower heart rate, decreased muscle tension, and leave you feeling calmer. Now, improve mood. Brain chemicals. Laughter stimulates the release of dopamine, bet you didn't know that, and serotonin. They're both neurotransmitters, both for feelings of happiness, pleasure, and reward. You often hear that dopamine has two benefits. It helps with our movement, which is key in Parkinson's, and it's also involved in the pleasure and reward center. So next time you need a boost, reach for a comedy instead of the coffee. Make yourself laugh, and you'll release that dopamine and the serotonin, and you'll get a good surge of those feel-good chemicals in your brain. And then perspective shift. Laughter can help us reframe negative situations, allowing us to see things from a more positive and optimistic perspective. It helps lift our spirits and put a smile on our face. I always tease and say one of my favorite sayings is that I have a smile on my face, a skip in my step, and a flutter in my heart. So keep a smile on your face, and not only will you smile, other people will smile, and you'll get people smiling and then laughing, and laughter is contagious. So try to laugh and smile as much as you can. Now, laughter also gives your immune system a boost. In terms of stress reduction, chronic stress suppresses the immune system. That's no secret. You see people that are under stress a lot or tend to get more colds than others, or they're sick, seem to be sick all the time. And laughter has stress-reducing effects that can indirectly help strengthen your immune system. And here's some bonus benefits of laughter. Pain relief. Bet you didn't know that. Laughter can activate pain-relieving pathways in the brain, offering temporary relief from chronic pain conditions. Now, since pain's often associated as one of the symptoms of people with Parkinson's, we need to get out there and laugh and take advantage of the laughter's pain-relieving benefits. So try to laugh several times a day. It's great. It helps relieve your stress, and it's just going to make you feel good overall. Now, improved cognition is another benefit. Studies suggest that laughter may help enhance memory, alertness, and creative thinking. Apparently, I need to laugh more than I already do. Maybe I could add laughter while I'm sleeping. Maybe that will help me increase my alertness and my memory. No, just kidding. And then social connection. Shared laughter strengthens social bonds, fosters trust, and promotes a sense of belonging, which helps with our overall emotional well-being. Now, I don't know about you, but how many times in school or when you were younger did you have a friend that just started laughing? Maybe, for instance, when you're not supposed to. I remember sitting in class one day, and my friend started laughing when the teacher was talking, and then you joined in laughing. Every time you looked at each other, you couldn't stop. And then it just, even when you were not looking at your friend, you just kept thinking about what it was that made you laugh, and you just couldn't stop. And then pretty soon, everyone else seemed to join in the fray. And then the teacher would stop and then say it's either is something funny, and then once they saw everybody else laughing, that helped to break the tension. So that was me too, as well. I was one of those that always found something amusing, and I always was trying to make other people laugh. Now, one of my favorite movies is Patch Adams, starring Robin Williams. He plays a medical student trying to become a doctor. And I don't know if you've seen the movie, but in one scene, he's got on a red nose and he's got these big clown shoes on. He's riding the hospital bed, and it's opening and closing, and he's riding it like a bucking bronco. And he's yelling, "Yeehaw," like he's at the rodeo. And his patient is a sick little boy, and he's sitting on the bed with his dad, and he's laughing at Patch Adams doing his rodeo routine. And then in walks one of the medical school professors. And this medical school professor only believes in serious traditional medicine. So he stands there with a scowl on his face, and he asks him what he's doing. And Patch jumps up, pulls off his red nose, and then recites an American Medical Association article on the benefits of laughter. And he goes through how it helps to reduce heart rate, helps the immune system, helps in pain, all the things that we just talked about. And then he walks out. See, Patch understands that laughter is a medicine that's free and can help these kids who are in the hospital to help them brighten up their moods. And then one of my favorite parts of the movie is near the end when Patch Adams is brought before the medical school professors and a board to determine if he should be kicked out of medical school because he was running a ranch where he was caring for patients, where the patients would care for each other. They would laugh. They would do each other's laundry to help, anything they could do to help each other out. And the professor from the earlier scene that was into traditional medicine filed a complaint to try to get him kicked out of medical school. And he was brought before the board. And chairman of the board said that you're being brought here because you're practicing medicine without a license. And Patch Adams at one point looked as though he would get kicked out of medical school. Then Patch did an exceptional job of stating his case. He turned the questions around on the medical professors, and at one point he says, "At what point in history did a doctor become more than a trusted friend who visited and treated the ill?" Now, you ask me if I've been practicing medicine. I'm guilty as charged, he says. I believe a doctor's mission should not be to just prevent death, but to also improve the quality of life. He says that that's why when you treat a disease, you win or you lose. You treat a person, I guarantee you win, no matter what the outcome. That's why he used laughter to treat the person, to help them both physically and improve their emotional well-being. So that's why Patch Adams was one of my favorite movies when I was younger. So now that we talked about the benefits that laughter can provide in terms of both our health and well-being, let's look at different types of laughter and humor we can use in people living with Parkinson's. You're probably asking yourself, there's different types of laughter and humor? Well, yes, there certainly is, and we're going to touch on those in just a second. Now, humor plays a vital role in coping with the challenges of Parkinson's. It can offer an emotional release. It can help us foster connections with others, whether that be friends and family. And it can even give us a sense of self-control over our symptoms and over our disease. And that's sometimes something that we feel like we've lost with Parkinson's, that you've lost control. And that's not true. We can still maintain control, and we can use humor and laughter to help us with it. Now, the type of humor that resonates with one person might not resonate with somebody else. So it's really based on your own individual preferences. And then make sure you use them, the types of humor and laughter that we're talking about. Make sure that you use them in the appropriate setting, though. Now, here's some different types of laughter and humor that those of us living with Parkinson's can use. The first one is self-deprecating humor. Now, this is one of my favorites because I use it all the time. I'm always poking fun at myself and acknowledging the challenges of Parkinson's in a lighthearted way. And it helps me normalize my symptoms, reduce some of the self-consciousness you have, especially if you have freezing or you have tremors or balance problems when you're out in public. And it can help you build a bond with others facing similar issues. So, for example, when I have tremors, I say, I'm just practicing for my night job as a martini shaker. Or when I have freezing, I may say, yep, of course, I'm always the one not paying attention and stepping in the wet cement. Give me a minute to get my feet loose, please. So those would be examples of self-deprecating humor. And again, that's my favorite. I just love poking fun at myself, and it's a great way to help me relieve the symptoms and deflect at times as well. All right, the next type of laughter and humor is shared humor. And this involves finding humor in everyday situations, or it could be your PD-related experiences. And you want to do that. You want to use shared humor in a non-judgmental way. And it can offer perspective, and it can provide lighthearted entertainment and help break the tension in the difficult moments. So let's give you some examples. So maybe several of us who are having slowness of movement I might say, I saw the sign that said, slow down, children at play, and thought, finally, somewhere I can fit in. And that usually gets a good laugh from the group. And they say, yes, I can sure relate to that the way I'm feeling today. So people that have Parkinson's, if you're together, it's a way to connect and share common symptoms that you're having in a fun and lighthearted way to help break the tension. And then the next type is galvanizing humor. And this humor uses humor to challenge stereotypes and advocate for better understanding to help raise awareness about PD. So it can help empower people with PD and promote a positive change and combat the stigma that sometimes people living with Parkinson's face. Let's take some examples. So in a group, I might say, my doctor asked me how I was doing. And I said, well, I'm not tap dancing on the tables yet. And then everyone laughed, and it reminded them that Parkinson isn't a joke, but laughter definitely is. So that's a way to galvanize and get the people. Let's say you're in a doctor's appointment. That's a great way to lightheartedly break the mood and get people to realize that Parkinson's is a serious disease, and laughter can help to reduce some of the stress that goes with it. Now, some key points to remember when using humor. The type of humor used should be respectful and appropriate for the individual and the situation. Remember, not everyone feels comfortable using humor to cope with their Parkinson's, and that's completely okay. And they don't have to use humor, and it's a personal decision. I personally, myself, because I've always been a clown, I like to use humor and laughter, but some people don't, and that is perfectly okay. And then humor should never be used to diminish or minimize the serious challenges of PD. So if someone's having really bad symptoms, that's maybe not the best time to use humor. Or if someone that's with advanced Parkinson's, that's not necessarily a great time to use humor either. So the key is to experiment and find out what works best for you. And it could be you're sharing witty remarks with loved ones, laughing at funny videos, or participating in support groups that practice humor. Remember, laughter can be a powerful tool for helping you navigate your journey with PD. Now, let's look at some tips and strategies that we can use to incorporate humor and laughter into our daily lives. First one is look for the funny. Watch comedies and funny shows. Go see stand-up comedians. A lot of times they're great to listen to, and they get you laughing and not thinking about your symptoms and your problems. You could also watch lighthearted sitcoms and that have humor and make you laugh. You could read humorous books and comics, whether they're witty essays or jokes or just funny memoirs or memes. They offer amusement, and they can also help you provide mental stimulation as well. And then listen to comedy podcasts or audiobooks. Enjoy hilarious stories and jokes while you're doing your daily task. That keeps you laughing and not thinking about your symptoms. Another thing you can do is surround yourself with funny people. Spend time with friends and family who share a sense of humor, and you make them laugh and they make you laugh. And embrace self-deprecating humor. I know I've embraced that a long time ago. And share, some lighthearted jokes about your symptoms. Use your wit to turn challenging situations into moments where people are laughing. They'll laugh. You can laugh at yourself, and other people are going to laugh with you. And then don't be afraid to laugh at your mistakes. Don't take yourself so seriously. Allow yourself to laugh at, minor mishaps and see the absurdity and the everyday challenges that people with Parkinson's face. When your tremor causes you to spill something or knock something over, use that as an opportunity to say, I told that glass to move out of the way, but it didn't listen, so I took care of it. And then practice self-talk, positive self-talk. We want to push negative thoughts out, so we want to reinforce positive self-talk and replace those negative thoughts with funny affirmations and humorous mantras. I may be shaky, but I'm sure the champion of it. That'd be a perfect example. And then you want to create some shared laughter. Play funny games with loved ones, whether they're board games, you're playing charades, games. They create a lot of fun and they can generate a lot of laughter too. I'll give you an example. When I first got married, we were playing Pictionary, and my sister-in-law was on my team, and it was her time to draw the picture, and we had to guess what it was. And she said, "I can't draw this." And I said, "What do you mean?" "Go ahead, just do the best you can." I said, "We'll guess." She said, "I can't." I said, "Sure, go ahead, just give it your best shot. We'll see what we can do to guess the answer." She goes, "I can't. I don't know what the word. I don't know how to draw." I said, so finally I said, "What's the word?" And she said, "Shiver." I said, "Shiver?" I said, "Let me see your card." And I looked at it. It was shiver. So we all got a good laugh out of that because instead of drawing someone shivering, she couldn't figure out what a shiver was. So that was a great funny story that we still tell to this day. And then tell some funny stories and jokes. Share funny stories from your life or some recent experience you had with your family, whether it's on vacation or if you can think of some funny stories. We all have them. So, and then the other thing you can do is there's some laughter yoga classes out there. And these classes, they combine laughter exercises with gentle yoga poses. So you're promoting your physical exercise and you're also getting your emotional well-being taken care of at the same time. And then engage in humor-based activities. Go to comedy shows, go to live performances. I don't know if any of you have ever gone to some of the stand-up comic acts, but they're hilarious, and you're going to laugh from the time they go on stage until they're finished. And then I know you're going to find this strange, but watch funny animal videos. There's been some studies that show that watching cute animals can trigger laughter and positive emotions. You can share funny memes and joke with your friends and your family on social media as well. That's another way to have or to increase humor and laughter in your life. Just remember, though, you want to respect individual preferences. Again, not everyone feels comfortable using humor or finds the same things funny as you do. So be mindful of others' feelings and respect their boundaries. And again, humor shouldn't minimize the struggle that we all have with Parkinson's. And you want to focus on the quality of your laughter and humor, not necessarily the quantity. You don't want to try to force laughter. You just want it to come naturally and be genuine about it. And then by incorporating some of the tips that I just talked about, you can tap into the powerful healing effects that humor and laughter have on making your journey with Parkinson's easier. And by making it easier, it's also going to give you then a better quality of life. So remember, laughter is a choice, and choosing to laugh can truly make a difference. Now, before we move on to the next segment, I wanted to share an exciting offer from audible.com. Now, if you're not familiar with Audible, they're a one-stop source for all your audio entertainment. They have thousands of titles in both print and audiobook format. In addition, they have Audible Originals featuring celebrity and experts. And Audible is currently offering a free audiobook if you sign up for their free 30-day trial. Now, here's what the nice thing. Even if you decide not to become a member and join Audible, you get to keep the free audiobook even if you decide not to join after the trial period ends. Now, if you do sign up for the 30-day trial period, I recommend the following books that you can find on audible.com. The first one's Lucky Man by Michael J. Fox. And then another is Parkinson's Treatment, 10 Secrets to a Happier Life by Dr. Michael Oken. They're two that I've read and highly recommend, as well as there's others as well. All the Michael J. Fox books were excellent. And Dr. Oken has 2 other books as well. If you sign up for the free trial and your free audiobook, you get to keep it whether you become a member or not. So see the link in the description below, but you can go to audible.com/exceptional life. That's audible.com/exceptional life to sign up for the free 30-day trial. Now, for full disclosure, if you sign up for the free 30-day trial, Audible pays me a small commission that I use to support this podcast. Now, there's no obligation on your part to sign up at the end of the 30-day trial if you decide to do that. And it's a personal preference, and I'm just offering the the trial. And if you decide to enroll in a 30-day trial, thank you for supporting the website. But again, it's there's no obligation for the 30-day trial, and you do get to keep the free audio book at the end. All right, moving on. Humor and communication. Now let's discuss the role of humor and communication with our loved ones, our caregivers, and our healthcare professionals. Now, we all know that Parkinson's presents some unique challenges, and communication can sometimes make us feel strained with whoever we're talking with, whether it be a family member and friend or whether it's our caregiver. But we can use humor to help lighten the mood and build stronger relationships with both our friends and family, as well as our caregivers and healthcare professionals. Now, when we communicate with loved ones, we can use humor to, one, break the ice. A lighthearted joke or witty observation can help us transition to difficult conversations about maybe some symptoms that are bothering us or some emotions that we're having. So, for example, yep, I spilled my coffee again. Looks like I need to invest in a tremor proof mug. And then that can create a laugh that can help lead to a discussion about tremors. Or this is one that I use sometimes. Would you believe someone spilled glue on the floor here and now my feet are stuck? Oh, you don't believe that? Can we discuss the freezing problems I've been having lately then? It's a great way to break the ice and talk about symptoms of freezing. You can also use humor and laughter to address difficult topics. Humor can help you lead into sensitive topics like fatigue, medication side effects, or some anxieties that you're having with Parkinson's. A lot of times people will start thinking down the road and, oh gosh, what's going to happen to me? So, for example, if we're looking at fatigue, I might say, I knew I shouldn't have hiked all 2,100 miles of the Appalachian Trail in a month, but did I listen to myself? No. Now I'm experiencing extreme fatigue. Can we talk about it? Or you have to excuse me, my brain and my mouth are arguing with each other and neither one's giving in. So I keep forgetting what I was going to say. And my mouth won't let me say it anyway. And you can use that as a way to lead into a discussion on cognitive decline or cognitive issues. Building a connection. Shared laughter fosters empathy, understanding, and helps strengthen bonds with friends and family. For example, remember that time I tried walking too fast and did that face plant? Well, luckily, I can't do any damage to this face anyway. Then say, remember how hard we laughed? And remembering those funny moments can help you bring back positive memories, and that helps strengthen the bond between you and whoever you're talking to, and it also helps you lighten the mood as well. So that's using humor with your loved ones. Now, let's look at caregivers. Now, sometimes your caregiver could be your spouse, it could be a friend, a family member, or it could be someone totally outside the family. So you can use humor to reduce stress. And a shared laugh can lighten the mood and help alleviate stress for both the caregiver and the person with Parkinson's. For example, I might say, well, would you just look at how poor my balance is today? I guess I'm not going to do that triple sack out I had planned on when we went ice skating today. That acknowledges my symptom, which is balance problems, with humor. And then appreciating their support. You can use humor to show your gratitude and how you feel about all the things that they've done for you, but do it in a lighthearted way. For example, you might say, you're the best medication dispenser a person could ask for, even though sometimes you do forget the whipped cream and the sprinkles. So that's a way of saying thank you in a lighthearted and funny way. And then building teamwork between you and your caregiver. Shared laughter helps create a sense of partnership with both you and your partner and helps you share the responsibilities. You could say, we're like a comedy team. You write great jokes and I deliver them with grace and timing. So that's a way to reinforce, your shared efforts. And then with your healthcare professional, you can use humor to break the ice and create a more relaxed atmosphere and encourage open communication between you and your physician. I might say, "Doc, sorry for my shaky handwriting. I know it's difficult to read. Luckily, I sent away for this Sky King decoder ring so that you can use to help decipher what my handwriting says. And that will make everything as clear as day. And that's going to help you and the doctor ease the tension and acknowledge that you're having challenges with your writing." Discussing concerns. Humor can help you approach sensitive topics that you want to talk about, like medication changes or other difficult diagnoses that you may be having. So, for example, if they may say, "How are things going?" And you might say, "Well, I'm not sure my dancing has improved with this new medication, but it gives my friends and family a good laugh." And that can bring up concerns that you're having with some of the side effects of the medication and a lighthearted way to help to ease the doctor's tension and stress as well. And then you can use it to humor and laughter to help build rapport with you and your healthcare professionals. So, for example, "I know I'm supposed to rest, but the new medication made me so tired I felt like I slept 20 years like Rumpelstiltskin." And that can help you discuss some of the medication side effects in a funny way. Now, some keys to remember again: respect the boundaries. Not everyone finds the same things funny. Read the room and try to respect individual preferences. And avoid insensitive humor. Don't use humor to minimize the struggles or make fun of serious concerns. And then you want to focus on shared laughter. You want to enjoy the moments of laughter, not forcing them. So use jokes and get everybody else to laugh as well. And then finally, I want to touch on finding the humor in the unexpected. Embrace some of the absurdity that some of the Parkinson's related situations. Um, Use it as a time to lighten the mood and reduce your stress, both for you and the others. And then you want to maintain a positive attitude and see the lighter side of things. Sometimes, even when things are difficult, you can still look at things in a positive light, and it makes things so much easier when you're facing challenges. Now, here's some resources for Parkinson's humor and laughter that you can reference, and I'll touch on books. The first one is Parkinson's Humor: Funny Stories About My Life with Parkinson's by Beverly Roboto. And I'll put this in the description as well, so if you want to link to it. And then I read this book myself. It's called What's Shaken, and it's an insider's look at the humor side of Parkinson's disease by John Brissett. It was funny. And then if you're looking for some Parkinson's jokes or puns or memes, here's some websites you can go to. Yellowjokes.com has a lot of different Parkinson's jokes, and then upjoke.com and punstoppable.com are all websites as well you can use. And then if you want to check out some movies, check out the movie Awakening with Robin Williams and Robert De Niro. That's going to tell the story of a doctor who treats Parkinson's with a new drug, which is called carbidopa levodopa. May have heard of it. Not sure. It's been around for just a little bit since 1969. So that's a good movie on the use of carbidopa levodopa to treat Parkinson's. And then there's a movie called The Founder, which tells the story of Ray Kroc and the founder of McDonald's, and he had Parkinson's, so it talks about his involvement with Parkinson's as well. Now, some of the key takeaways: use laughter and humor to help manage your both your motor and non-motor symptoms. And we looked at, some funny ways to do that. And we talked about different types of humor as well. Self-deprecating humor. That's, for me, that's the best kind because it helps reduce the tension that others may be experiencing if you're having trouble with tremors or walking, balance, speech, whatever it happens to be. There's always a witty joke or comeback that you can use that's going to help to alleviate the problem. But also remember, some people don't like to use humor and laughter, and that's perfectly okay. And so set some boundaries and be able to read the room or read the tea leaves, as they say. And then the other thing you want to make sure that you do is you don't make fun of people that are having serious challenges or concerns with their PD. And then I just want to leave you with the importance of humor and laughter as a coping mechanism. And it's a great tool for helping you live a great life with Parkinson's. It doesn't cost anything. It's readily available and you can call on it anytime. And there's no dosing schedule. You can use it as often or little as need be. So incorporate as much humor and laughter into your life as possible, and you'll find that you'll live an exceptional life. And then, find the humor in your own life and share it with others. If you do something funny, don't be afraid to tell others, hey, you wouldn't believe what I just did. And remember, you're not alone. And humor can be a powerful force for good. So share your laughter, share your humor, and it's going to go a long way with not only helping you, but helping others as well. Now, please share your stories on using humor to cope with Parkinson's. Fancast allows you to leave comments, questions, or some of the funny stories that you're going through, or anything that you want to share. I'll be happy to respond to any questions or comments that you have. And then also there's a chat room where we can start and we can communicate with each other as a group and build this great community of Parkinson's warriors helping each other out. So please visit me at fancast.com/exceptional life. And I look forward to starting a chat room and hearing from all of you, because I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to this podcast and some of the other podcasts that I've done as well. Now, as I leave you today, I would request that you visit YouTube. And I recently started a new YouTube channel, and it's called Live Parkinson's, Live an Exceptional Life, from Tremors to Triumph. And it's another way to help as many people as possible live a great life with Parkinson's. So if you would go visit and watch the videos and hit that subscribe button, I would greatly appreciate it, because I want to build a great community of Parkinson's warriors that can share success stories and support each other and help put our worries and fears with Parkinson's symptoms in the dustbin. So thanks again for listening and visiting the YouTube channel as well. And I hope you have a spectacular day, and I look forward to hearing or seeing you on future podcasts. Thanks again. To leave me a message or a success story, or if you just have a comment, go to fanlist.com/live Parkinson's life. Again, that's fanlist.com/live Parkinson's life. And leave a message and I will get back to you. And there's also a chat room there where you can actually start a chat with others and share your story. And I'll be happy to jump in and be part of the chat room as well. So please send your messages to fanlist.com, live Parkinson's life, and I'll be happy to address any questions and comments that you have. Thanks again for listening and being part of this podcast. And I look forward to seeing you on future podcasts and hearing your questions and comments. Thanks again and have a great day.